Peace be upon you. Our book today is titled The 5-Second Rule, written by Mel Robbins. This book discusses a simple technique or psychological trick that the author named the 5-Second Rule. The author discovered this rule during a difficult phase in her life, a decline after previous success. This technique was one of the things that helped her return and achieve greater success than before. The author presented the idea of the 5-second rule at a TEDx conference, and the idea spread widely. Many people tried it and found it helped them change themselves significantly. After the spread and all the success stories, the author decided to write a book on the subject. However, since the topic is simple and does not warrant a full book, the author likely had to fill the book with many stories and some ideas from other books to prove the effectiveness of the 5-second rule. Therefore, I will ignore a large part of this filler and focus only on the important points in the book. We will present the book through two ideas. 1. Achievement and mood. 2. The 5-second rule. God willing, today's episode will be beneficial and help you change for the better. The first idea we have is titled Achievement and Mood. We all may face situations where we know it is in our best interest to do a certain task or action, but we lack the desire or mood. Sometimes negative feelings such as stress, embarrassment, or even boredom create a barrier between us and the action. We end up not doing it, even though we know it is in our best interest. The idea of linking action to mood is very dangerous and will often deprive you of achievement in your life. If you want to achieve in your life and reach valuable goals, you will need to do difficult, boring, or sometimes risky things. Your mood will not always cooperate with you to do those things. You will always find feelings of discomfort, boredom, or fear present. If you give in to them, you will not be able to do anything. Some may say that the solution lies in motivation, by seeking someone to motivate you to be able to do the boring, difficult, or scary things. But in reality, this solution is impractical. The author of the book has a somewhat extreme opinion regarding motivation. I do not fully agree with her, as she often repeats the phrase, "Motivation is garbage." The word garbage means trash or waste, and what she means is that motivation is worthless and has no benefit. My problem with this phrase is that it does not differentiate between types of motivation. What the author usually means is emotional motivation, such as the words of coaches or videos that pump you up with emotional, enthusiastic talk that fades shortly after. Those who repeat phrases like, "You have incredible abilities, but you don't know it," or "You can achieve the impossible," with exciting music and clips of people lifting weights or climbing mountains, all this enthusiastic atmosphere. The problem with this type of motivation is that it is not genuine. Those who present it do not know you at all, nor do they know your circumstances or abilities. Therefore, even if the excitement of the moment deceives you and energizes you a little, this illusion will disappear as soon as you face reality. However, even with this type, I will not say it is completely worthless. This type of motivation may push you to take the first step, which is undoubtedly useful, but it is certain that it will not carry you through the remaining steps. The video you watched that motivated you yesterday will not motivate you to the same extent today, and perhaps tomorrow it will have no effect on you at all. That is why here on the channel, we do not rely on this emotional type of motivation at all. Here, you may feel motivated because you have gained knowledge, ideas, and new methods that help you achieve your goals or solve your problems. Motivation based on knowledge, logic, and evidence, not on emotion. Remember that most important things in your life require persistence in action for a long time. Therefore, this temporary motivation is never a successful strategy. Moreover, there are things where it is not logical to use this type of motivation to do them. If you want to brush your teeth daily, for example, but you feel lazy, is it logical to watch a motivational video every day of someone lifting weights or climbing a mountain with a voice saying, "You are capable of making the impossible happen," just to motivate you to brush your teeth? I don't think so. So, since emotional motivation is not an effective strategy, what is the solution? The solution is to learn to take action regardless of your mood, regardless of your feelings. You learn to go against your desires and mood. It is reported that Umar ibn Abdul Aziz sent a message to Al-Hasan al-Basri saying, "As for what follows, when you receive my letter, write me a brief advice. In other words, give me a concise piece of advice." Al-Hasan al-Basri replied with a very short message saying, "As for what follows, disobey your desires and peace." Disobey your desires. That is the solution. Do not let your fate be at the mercy of your fluctuating mood and feelings. Just as striving against oneself in matters of obedience and religion will benefit you in the hereafter, it will also greatly benefit you in worldly matters. If you manage to acquire this ability, you will not only be able to accomplish your tasks as they come, but also achieve every change you wish to make in your life. Moreover, you will also gain a self-confidence that is hard to acquire by any other means. The feeling that you have control over yourself will give you a sense of strength and confidence. Here are 2 points regarding mood and negative feelings that I want to clarify. The first is that feelings follow action, not the other way around. Do not wait for your mood or feelings to change before you take action. Start the action, and your feelings will change later. Do not wait to feel brave to do things you are afraid to do. Do them despite your fear, and after a while, the fear will disappear, replaced by a feeling of courage. Surely you have experienced at least once not feeling in the mood for a certain task, work, studying, or exercising, for example. But you started anyway, and soon your feelings changed after you began. After you finished, you felt happy and satisfied with yourself because you accomplished something and did not procrastinate. This leads us to the second point. The negative feelings that prevent you from acting, such as discomfort, boredom, or stress, are often exaggerated and larger than their actual size. How many times has it happened that you procrastinated and delayed work multiple times until time became tight? Then you started working late out of fear of the consequences. After you began, you made progress in your work and felt regret for not starting earlier? Do you know why you felt regret? Because you discovered that the work was not as difficult as you thought, which made you procrastinate and delay. If you had started earlier, you would have spared yourself the stress and achieved a better result. You discovered that the feelings that were preventing you from working were exaggerated and not real, and that giving in to them was a mistake. You should have ignored them and started working anyway. Now, the question is, how do you acquire the skill or habit of going against your desires or mood? After seeking help from God and seeking refuge from incapacity and laziness, there are two solutions. The first is long-term, and you must work on it and develop it over time, which is willpower. We previously presented a detailed episode about willpower, which I consider one of the best episodes of the program so far. I recommend you watch it to understand what willpower is, how to increase it, and how to use it well. The second solution is a quick one that can yield immediate results in many cases, which is the 5-second rule discussed in the book, and we will explain it in detail in the next idea. The second idea we have is titled the 5-second rule. The author was going through a state of frustration and failure after leaving her job and failing to find a new one. Her husband also struggled in his business, and they became indebted, with their marriage threatened with failure, all while having children. It was such a bad time that she could not even wake up in the morning as a way to escape the harsh reality. This escape, of course, made things worse. She confronted herself that if she wanted to change this bad reality, she at least had to wake up early to fulfill her responsibilities. She was inspired by a countdown she saw on television for a rocket launch, and said that starting the next day, once the alarm rang, she would count down from 5 to 1. After that, she would launch herself out of bed just like the rocket launched from the launch pad. Indeed, the next day, as soon as the alarm rang, she counted down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! And she got out of bed immediately. She says it was the first time in many months that she succeeded in getting out of bed as soon as she heard the alarm. The process continued successfully for her afterward. The secret behind the countdown idea is that it is a psychological trick that prevents your brain from indulging in thoughts that make you hesitant or prevent you from acting. The more you give your brain a chance to come up with excuses, the more it will succeed in creating excuses that prevent you from acting or even delay you in a way that harms you. The author then began to use this simple rule in other areas of her life. For example, she knew she had to talk to some of her old acquaintances to ask them about available job opportunities, but feelings of embarrassment and anxiety always prevented her from making the calls. So, she began that whenever she remembered the name of someone who could help her. Before her mind could wander into thoughts and feelings that would prevent her, she would count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! And she would grab the phone and call immediately. Regardless of whether the call ended with finding a job opportunity or not, what mattered was that she was able to make the call after being unable to do so for many months. Over time, the author's circumstances began to improve, and she gradually regained success in her life. She also started sharing this simple trick with others, and she heard positive feedback from them about the success of the 5-second rule in their lives. Eventually, she decided to write a book on the subject. I believe this simple method can indeed succeed with many people. Even if it does not work in every situation, it is very likely to succeed in several important matters for you. And that is more than enough, especially since it is an extremely simple method that does not require much effort. I have 2 pieces of advice that may increase the chances of the 5-second rule succeeding for you. The first advice is that I recommend you start counting from 3 instead of 5. True, this will completely change the name of the rule, but that's okay. I find that a countdown of 5 seconds is long enough to allow your brain to start making excuses. At least, that is what happened to me and some people who tried this method. Just count down from 3, 3, 2, 1, and say any word that provokes you to move, such as go, come on, hup, or anything like that. The second advice is that it is in your best interest for this simple method to succeed because it will help you achieve and change. So help yourself to make it successful. If you want to look for an excuse to say you tried it and it didn't work, to justify to yourself continuing in your current state, then you are the loser. The author sold the book and made profits. I do not ask you to deceive yourself. What I ask is that you try with the desire for the method to succeed, not the desire to prove its failure. In the end, you are the only one who benefits or loses. Before presenting some examples for application, I want to emphasize that you should use this rule only when the action you wish to take is in your best interest and beneficial for you, but your mood or feelings are against the action. This means that you are in a situation of choosing between doing something in your interest and not doing it. However, if you are confused between two matters and do not know which is in your interest, this rule will not help you and does not fit the situation. It is not a game of Hadi Badi Karam Zabad, a childhood rhyme for choosing between two options. There are 3 types of actions that this rule may help you accomplish. The first type, facing physical laziness, such as getting out of bed. This has been explained earlier, or exercising. If you plan to do certain exercises but feel lazy and unwilling at the time of actual execution, and your brain starts making excuses, cut it off immediately. 3, 2, 1, go. Do anything, even if it's just getting up and putting on your workout clothes and shoes. Still feeling lazy? 3, 2, 1, and step out the door, and so on. The second type, facing procrastination and delay. While preparing the script for this episode, my mind was telling me, "You've written enough for today, go sleep and finish tomorrow." But I know it is in my best interest to complete the script to ensure the episode is published on time. So I would quickly say, 3, 2, 1, go. And I would open the timer I use for work and start a new work session for a quarter or a third of an hour. Usually I would accomplish a good amount of the script during that time, thank God. You can also do this. As soon as you feel hesitant and lack the desire to work, even though you know that starting immediately is in your best interest, do not give your brain a chance to make excuses. Set a timer on your phone or computer for a quarter of an hour and start working for that duration only. Decide afterward. Do not give in to your feelings the first time. By the way, regarding work specifically, including studying or housework, if there is nothing preventing you from working during the day except your mood, make sure that this day is one of the best days suitable for work. Do not let yourself deceive you into thinking that tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. You may face unexpected circumstances such as illness, travel, or anything else that prevents you from working. And you will regret the day when the opportunity to work was available, but you succumbed to your negative feelings. The third type, facing hesitation and lack of self-confidence. You may be in a meeting, for example, and you have a good idea, but you hesitate to speak, fearing that they will not like your idea. Do not allow your feelings to control you. Quickly count. 3, 2, 1, and speak. You will regret it more if someone else speaks before you and suggests the same idea or a similar one. If there is an important call you need to make, but the subject is heavy on your soul or embarrassing, 3, 2, 1, and call. Remember that the negative feelings we feel before taking action are usually exaggerated without reason. As long as your mind says that this action is in your best interest, ignore your feelings. Your feelings will change when you start acting. Most people, when they look back at the past, feel regret. Often, their regret over the things they did not do is greater than their regret over the things they did, especially when they discover that there was no real obstacle preventing them from acting and that the action was within their capabilities. But they succumbed to their negative feelings and deprived themselves of achieving what deserves to be achieved in life.